Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into some genuinely fascinating new medical research about what is actually happening inside the human brain after age 60. For a long time, we've kind of had this collective assumption, right? That memory loss is just this inevitable, totally unavoidable part of getting older. But recent science, it's painting a completely different and frankly, a way more hopeful picture. So let's explore this together. Let's start with a scenario most of us know incredibly well. You walk into the kitchen with a crystal clear purpose, but by the time you cross the threshold, poof, you've completely forgotten why you went in there. Or maybe you spend 10 frantic minutes looking for the glasses that are literally sitting right on top of your head. Or you just totally blank on a new acquaintance's name. Listen, if you're over 60, experiences like these can spark some real anxiety. You might catch yourself wondering, is this it? Is my mind actually starting to go? It's a scary feeling, for sure. Okay, let's dive right into this with Section 1, normal aging versus memory decline. So there is a very clear line between normal aging and actual decline. Slower recall or occasionally misplacing your keys, it's inconvenient, sure, but it is totally normal. However, completely forgetting recent events, getting confused in places you've known for years, repeatedly asking the exact same questions, or experiencing sudden changes in your personality, those are real warning signs. I really want to validate your everyday experiences here. A lost pair of glasses is perfectly fine. But if you or a loved one are seeing those more severe signs, that demands an immediate discussion with a doctor. A lot of people just dismiss these red flags as getting old, and they lose precious time when early intervention could make all the difference. Moving on to Section 2, the 5 biological memory threats. We're going to look under the hood here. First up is reduced blood flow. Think of your brain as this high-performance engine that requires massive, constant amounts of oxygenated blood. But if you have stiff arteries, untreated cardiovascular issues, or just a highly sedentary lifestyle, the tiny vessels in your brain really suffer. And when this happens, the hippocampus, which is your main memory center, basically gets starved of oxygen and actually begins to shrink at an accelerated rate compared to healthy peers. The second biological driver is chronic neuroinflammation. You know how your joints or your gut can get inflamed? Well, your brain is incredibly vulnerable to inflammation too. When it's chronically inflamed, it disrupts how your cells communicate and damages the protective coating around your nerve fibers. Worse than that, it accelerates the buildup of toxic amyloid plaques, which is a major hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. And a massive driver of this? Diets that are just loaded with highly processed foods, ultra-refined sugars, and industrial seed oils. Now, this next part is amazing. We actually have a built-in nighttime waste clearance system to fight those toxins. It's called the glymphatic system. It activates almost exclusively during deep sleep to literally flush out those toxic amyloid and tau proteins. But here's the catch. If you're getting less than 6 hours of sleep, or your sleep is super fragmented, this system just shuts down. Medical research shows that even one single night of poor sleep measurably increases amyloid levels in your brain. Over the years, this creates the absolute perfect environment for dementia to take hold. The fourth biological factor is chronic stress. When we're stressed, our bodies pump out a hormone called cortisol. Now, in short bursts, cortisol is totally fine. But when it's chronically elevated, it essentially acts as a neurotoxin that directly attacks and shrinks that hippocampus. This massively hurts your ability to form and retrieve memories. And unfortunately, major stressors like social isolation, financial worry, and grief, they are incredibly common for folks over 60. Finally, the fifth threat, nutritional deficiencies. Your brain absolutely needs specific building blocks to maintain its physical structure. For example, vitamin B12 deficiency is extraordinarily common over 60 because our aging digestive tracts just lose the ability to absorb it efficiently, and that leads to direct neurological damage. Deficiencies in vitamin D, omega-3s, and magnesium have a really similar effect. Without them, the actual physical connections required to form a memory just start to break down. And this brilliantly illustrates our next point. Section 3, the Alzheimer's epidemic in America. Now, before we get to the really good news, I have to share some heavy statistics, but they're absolutely necessary to understand what we're up against. Alzheimer's disease is now the 5th leading cause of death among Americans aged 65 and older. Over 6 million Americans are living with it right now, and that's projected to hit 14 million by 2060. And beyond the immeasurable emotional toll, the financial devastation is just staggering. It costs an average American family over $300,000 for care over the course of the illness. But here is the empowering shift. Cutting-edge research shows that up to 40% of dementia cases are potentially preventable through everyday lifestyle modifications. Think about that.
40%. That means the choices you make today, right now, have a profound, measurable, biological impact on your brain's future.
Which brings us right into Section 4, 7 Proven Brain Protection Strategies. Let's pivot to hope. Strategy number 1 is cardiovascular exercise, and honestly, the data here is just phenomenal. A landmark study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences found something incredible. Adults who simply engaged in brisk walking for 40 minutes 3 times a week didn't just stop their brain from shrinking, they actually grew their hippocampus by 2% over a year, literally reversing 1 to 2 years of age-related shrinkage. Exercise increases blood flow and triggers the production of BDNF, a protein which basically acts like Miracle-Grow fertilizer for your brain cells. Strategy 2 is the mind diet. This is a clinically studied mashup of the Mediterranean and DASH diets, engineered specifically for brain protection. Following this rigorously can reduce your Alzheimer's risk by up to 53%. The whole goal is to load up on leafy greens, berries, fish, whole grains, and olive oil, while really limiting red meat, butter, cheese, pastries, and fried foods. You know, the exact stuff that fuels that dangerous neuroinflammation we were talking about earlier. Strategy 3, prioritizing deep sleep. So the crucial point is that 7 to 8 hours of sleep is absolutely not a luxury. It is a hard medical necessity to let that glymphatic system wash away toxic proteins. Keep your bedroom completely dark and cool. And listen, if you snore heavily or feel exhausted during the day, you must get evaluated for sleep apnea. It severely fragments your sleep, drops your oxygen levels, and it is dramatically underdiagnosed in adults over 60. Fixing it is literally one of the most effective, treatable ways to protect your cognition immediately. Strategy 4 involves building what scientists call cognitive reserve. See, your brain has this beautiful property called neuroplasticity, the ability to form new connections at literally any age. When you continuously challenge your mind, like by learning a new language or finally picking up that guitar gathering dust in the corner, you build a dense network of neural connections. This acts as a physical buffer. It allows your brain to compensate and function incredibly well, even as natural biological changes happen. And that directly connects to strategy 5, active social engagement. Human connection isn't just nice to have, it's biologically protective. Research in the Lancet journal actually found that social isolation contributes to roughly 4% of all dementia cases globally. Regular, meaningful connection with your community, your family, or volunteer groups. It stimulates multiple regions of the brain all at once and provides emotional regulation that directly lowers those toxic cortisol levels. Strategy 6 is direct stress management. Chronic stress is vastly underappreciated as a threat to your brain. But structured relaxation? It has visible structural benefits. Just 10 minutes of daily mindfulness meditation is clinically proven to actually increase the density of gray matter in your prefrontal cortex. Whether it's meditation, tai chi, gentle yoga, or honestly just spending quiet time in nature, actively downregulating your nervous system is a phenomenal defense for your memory. Strategy 7 is targeted supplementation. There's some really exciting emerging evidence that certain supplements can support cell membranes and synaptic density. Things like omega-3 DHA, lion's mane mushroom, phosphatidylserine, and magnesium L-threonate show real promise. But, and this is important, you absolutely must consult your doctor before starting any of these, just to make sure they won't interact with any other medications you might already be taking. Finally, Section 5, your brain protection action plan. Let's pull this all together. We've covered a ton of ground today, but the main takeaway is this. It is never too late to start. Even in your 70s and 80s, these changes produce real, measurable benefits. So here's your quick daily checklist. Move your body every single day. Protect your sleep like it's your full-time job. Eat real, unprocessed food. Stay deeply connected to your community. Keep challenging yourself to learn new things. And at your next checkup, specifically ask your doctor to check your B12 and vitamin D levels. If you have any concerns at all about your memory, advocate for yourself. Ask for an evaluation. Early detection is an incredibly powerful tool. I really want to leave you with this final thought. Your brain is the vessel of your entire life. Think about it. It built every loving relationship you cherish, it holds every single precious memory you've ever made, and it engineered every achievement you've reached. It has taken care of you for over 60 years. Now? Well, now it's your turn to take care of it. Are you ready to start protecting it today? Thanks so much for exploring this with me, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.